Federal Q2 Siren. It's still in current use today. It's been around for decades. It's the mainstay. The motto for this thing, or the selling point, is it's not a real fire truck unless it has one of these on it. We have two on this unit here. This is a Federal Model 77, which is just a little bit smaller. It has an 8-inch rotor as opposed to the 10-inch rotor on the Q. Still a very powerful siren. It's no longer in production, although there's still quite a few of them in service. This is a Federal C5A coaster. It has a clutch, as does the Federal Q, that allows once the motor, power to the motor is disconnected, the clutch will disengage and it will allow the rotor to free spin, allowing a much longer coast time, and also saves considerably on the battery drain. This is a Federal Model 78, which is the same thing as the 77, with the exception it has double vents, and it produces two different sounds. It's almost like two sirens running at one time. Also, this one is no longer in production, although there's still some out there on some of the older rigs. Another Federal Q2 here also has the clutch that allows it to free spin after the power is disconnected. Up here we have the Federal Model 17 beacon ray. It has two lamps. I can't remember what the flash rate is on it, but this was the mainstay for many, many years. It's no longer in production. There's probably few of them still in service. This is the Federal Model WLR. It's the Model W siren. The LR designates the front and rear light on that unit. This is quite a bit older than the other items on here. It goes back to the 40s and 50s, and there's probably none of them still in service. This is the same siren as the Model 77 and the 78. This is 77 WLR, designates light on the front and rear. Same siren, just instead of a grill, it has a red light. This is a little bit later model beacon ray. It's a Model 176. It has 4 bulbs. In this configuration we have 2 whites and 2 reds, and you'll notice it spins opposite direction of the Model 17. It has the ability to turn off the white lights, which is useful if you're going to be at a scene for a prolonged period of time. White lights are very good at catching traffic when you're running hot. Here we have the switches that run the sirens. You'll notice the 2 black ones. The black ones are brake controlled. That allows the free coasting siren to be shut down early if you arrive on the scene, or you have other reasons that you need to quieten it down. The electric brake is quite handy. Below that, we have 2 Federal Signal SW300 switch boxes. These are flush mounted. They extend into the interior 6 or 8 inches. Switches on here control these individual lights. We have 2 sets of them. And below that, we have a Federal Signal PA300 electronic siren. This is a vintage model. The PA300 is still in production in a different, little bit different configuration, but basically the same thing. It's quite loud. This also has a PA that you can use to talk through the siren speaker if you need it for crowd control or to get your messages across. Also has a radio repeater that can be turned on, and so the 2-way radio can be heard outside the vehicle. That was quite handy before everyone had individual handheld radios. This siren has a traditional wail up and down sound. It also has a yelp and the European high-low signal. It's quite loud. It also has the air horn. Okay, on the end panel, vintage at this time, but it is fairly late model. It's recently been updated to LED. This is a fire ray strobe. Usually there were 8 of them on the fire truck, 4 on each side. On the bumper, as you see it here, in midships and on the rear. They split it up during the midships, but it has about 10 different patterns of flash that can be used. We have one on each side of this unit. This is a side view of the Federal Q2. It's seen on any real fire truck will have at least one of these on it. Here's a side view of the Federal Model 78 dual tone siren. You notice it has 2 sets of vents which are offset, unlike the other sirens which have 1 set. This gives the siren a sound similar to two sirens running at one time, a little out of phase. It's a very effective siren. Okay, here we have the side view or oblique view of the C5A coaster siren. You notice it has large vents and it has a larger diameter than the two beside it. In between these sirens, we have the original tow hooks that came off of the truck that this bumper came from. It's about an 85 model American LaFrance. Okay, here we have a side view or oblique view of the Federal Sound and Signal Model 77 siren. Again, that's an 8-inch rotor as opposed to the larger one in the Federal Q2. This is the grill model. And here, this is a close-up of the Federal Q2 siren, which is probably the most famous siren in the world. It's certainly the most effective siren that's ever been developed. It's still in production, still going out on new fire apparatus. Even today, it's been around at least since the 40s, if not before. Close-up view of the Model 176 4-beam beacon ray produced by Federal Signal. This has all 4 lights going. We can cut off the white lights. These are probably not any of these in service at this time, but it did serve for quite a while. Have an oblique view of the Model 77 LR. Again, that's the same siren as the Model 77. The difference being it has a red light in the front and one in the rear. This was used on the roof of vehicles before they had light bars or beacon rays. They probably went out in the 60s. Was probably about the last time they were in much use. Okay, this is a Model W. The desired designation was W. LR again stands for the light on the front and rear. This is a smaller version of the one next to it. It was also a little less expensive. You won't see any of these in service anymore. Everything on this display has been rescued as it was headed for salvage. Everything has been totally restored to new condition. Operates just as it did the day it left the factory. Next to that, we have the Model 17 beacon ray. It's a 2-bulb using seal beams, as does the 176. This unit was in service from the 40s up through probably the 70s until the advent of the modern day light bars. You won't see any of these in service at this time either. Okay, we have a rear oblique view of the WLR siren. This tail cap is still available as it fits, I believe it's a Pontiac or an Oldsmobile. So from vintage restoration people, that tail cap can be purchased today as it originally came off of a General Motors vehicle. I can't remember which one. The 77 WLR next to it uses the same tail cap. See, I'm developing a problem on that one.